Good evening and welcome to a special edition of CBS 4 News. I'm investigator Jim DeFede. In local news, we spend a lot of time talking about crime and occasionally punishment. But tonight we're going to go in depth and talk about rehabilitation. Is it possible? Over the next 30 minutes, we are going to take you inside the last remaining boot camp in the state of Florida. CBS 4 News spent 4 months following one class of cadets, a collection of carjackers and burglars and armed robbers. Some will embrace this last chance, others will not. For those who graduate, only 11% will be rearrested within a year. But that's a long way away. For now, they just have to survive day one.
Get them off that bus, son!
Let's go!
Let's go!
It's 4 a.m. and the first class of 2014 has arrived at the Miami-Dade County Boot Camp.
Sir, yes, sir! Somebody move, you're going to say something. Understand that? Sir, yes, sir! You understand that? Sir, yes, sir! I said, what? Sir, yes, sir!
There are 38 cadets on the bus, ranging in age from 16 to 24.
We going to do it my way, or we going to do it my way? There ain't no other way. Understand that? Sir, yes, sir!
They have all pled guilty to a myriad of crimes and face sentences of up to 15 years in prison.
Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! Hey, hurry up and get on the bus!
But the judges who sentenced them offered them one last reprieve: complete the boot camp program, and they won't have to go to prison.
I can't hear you! I can't hear you!
From the moment they arrive, the cadets are subjected to a verbal campaign of shock and awe, designed to test their limits. Here, everyone is treated the same, whether they look hard and streetwise or scared and innocent.
Louder! Faster! 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 I can't see you! Faster! I can't hear you!
My name is Jennifer. I'm 18 years old. I'm in here for carjacking, aggravated assault, false imprisonment, and burglary.
Jennifer Flores was 17 when she and her friend forced their way into a stranger's car.
Let's go! Hurry up!
I was with my best friend, which is a girl, and we were just messed up on drugs and just wanted to take somebody's car. We got in his car and I grabbed him by the back of his head and my co-defendant started just beating on him.
Let's go! Today! Today!
As the light rain falls, the youngest cadet in the class appears overwhelmed. Christian Arojo was 15 when he was arrested for aggravated battery after getting into a fight at a party, leaving the victim in a coma for 3 months. And you hit him because?
Because I was drunk and he looked at me in the wrong way.
The lack of self-control is a common trait among the cadets. Half the class failed to finish high school. 6 of the cadets were homeless and living on the streets. The key in boot camp is discipline and the realization that there are consequences for screwing up, no matter how small the screw-up might be.
My name is Justin Martinez. I'm 22, and I was born and raised in Colorado Springs.
Boot camp was designed for those at a crossroads, and few fit that description better than Martinez. Martinez's father spent most of Justin's childhood in prison, and Justin was well on his way down that path as well. His father was in the notorious street gang Piru in Colorado. After his mother moved him to Florida, Martinez joined the Homestead gang 9 Trey, the gang tattoos evident on his arms. Last year, he was arrested for a series of burglaries in which he stole a gun. Why'd you take a gun?
It's easy to sell. At the time, I was in my own apartment, and I was short on rent.
He said what haunts him is knowing how much he hurt his mother.
A son always knows his mother's pain. The look she gave me. The look she gave me when she came and saw me the last time, I knew she was hurting because she couldn't look me in my eyes. So I know I put a lot of pain on her chest.
It's been 19 months since he last saw his mother.
She told me the last thing she said was to keep my head on straight. And she wrote me a letter the other day that said to keep my head forward because I have a hot head. She knows I have a hot head.
Welcome to freaking Miami-Dade County freaking boot camp.
Sergeant William Dias helped launch the county's boot camp program back in 1995. Since then, more than 1,000 cadets have completed the program.
The program is here for you. It's not for us. All we want is your freaking best. Do you understand me? Sir, yes, sir.
I'm a big fan of boot camp.
Tell me why.
In part because I think it is probably the only program we have that is rehabilitative in nature for adults, first of all, for young adults. It is. It's the only program we have that's not prison.
Miami-Dade Circuit Court Judge Nushin Safi oversees the criminal division of the courthouse and knows she isn't sending choir boys into the program. Some of these folks have been convicted of some really bad things.
I would say by and large it's pretty serious offenses. I would say most of the people that I have sent to boot camp were pretty serious offenses.
You know, there's a lot of, you know the general sentiment in the public. If you ask the public, you know, what should happen to somebody who commits an armed robbery or a carjacking or any of these things, they say, throw them away, throw them in prison.
I think that that's people's initial reaction, but what I would tell you is that I've had many cases where I thought it was my responsibility to make sure that the people involved in the case knew what I was about to do. So the prosecutors would bring the victims on these cases into court, and I did that on multiple occasions. And the one person that disagreed with me said to me, Judge Safi, I don't agree with you, but I agree with what you're trying to do. So,
and what is it that we're trying to do?
We're trying to ultimately create a person that's going to be a functioning member of society and not create a person who's going to come out of prison and be a bigger, badder, better criminal.
According to Judge Safi, for many of these young criminals, boot camp may be their last opportunity to learn right from wrong.
What they tell you in boot camp is that they basically strip the person down to bare bones, and they build them back up. And they're part of a team, they're part of a platoon. And they're definitely taught consequences, which I think is huge. They're taught to really believe in themselves. And all it is about giving the kid a chance. Ultimately, if the cadet fails, prison is waiting. The bus is waiting and their prison number is waiting.
From the moment they arrive, they are told there is a right way to do something and a wrong way. They teach them how to stand, how to speak, how to hold their canteens. They teach them how to sit.
I'm not taking my little mosey time. I'm not taking my time. Oh, the seat dirty, whatever. I'm sitting down like a rock. You understand me? Sir.
They even show them the right way to lower their head in prayer.
Ready, pray.
And if they mess up, they'll all be smoked.
Smoking them is when they have done something incorrectly, and we get them to do whatever the exercise is that we ask them to do.
If you move and I don't give you permission, you will pay. Amen. If he messes up, you will all pay. Amen. If he doesn't sound off, you will all pay.
Out of the corner of her eye, she catches one of the cadets scratching his face.
When I tell you, stop freaking moving. Stop moving!
But using exercise as punishment has proved dangerous.
Let's go! Get it going! Let's go!
Hurry up! You should already be there!
In 2006, 14-year-old Martin Lee Anderson died in a Panama City boot camp. Anderson, who suffered from asthma, was unable to run as guards ordered. Videos showed the guards punishing him by taking him to the ground and forcing him to breathe in ammonia. The public outcry marked a turning point for boot camps. As a result, the legislature closed all 5 of its camps across the state. And in 2007, the Broward Sheriff closed its boot camp program to save money. Miami-Dade's program is the last in the state, and with an annual budget of $3.5 million, it too faces a precarious future. Mayor Carlos Jimenez proposed closing the program this year to save tax dollars, but came up with the money under pressure at the last minute to save it for now. Boot camps are an inherent gamble. The safe bet would be to send these offenders to state prison, where it costs just $47.50 a day to house and feed them. But this is a long-term bet. You might even call it an investment in all our names. Take Justin Martinez. A 5-year prison term would cost taxpayers $86,690. The 16-month boot camp, just $46,453. More important than the money, though, is the hope that the program will keep cadets from committing new offenses. The recidivism rate in prison is 27%. Within the boot camp, it's just 11%. In boot camp, they are required to attend classes, and most will earn a GED while here. Those who already have a high school diploma receive job training. But the cadets of Platoon 14-1 are still a long way from success. When we come back, which cadets will make it, and who will wash out? 2 weeks into boot camp, and the cadets of Class 14-1 are proving to be more difficult than the instructors had hoped.
Now she act crazy, you gonna pay for it. Talking to you, little mama.
The drill instructors have them so rattled, one cadet keeps referring to his male drill instructor as a woman.
All right, man. Sir, you call me a man, you gotta be at your freaking back. You ever call me a man again, we gonna have a problem. You understand me? You understand me? Do you hear me? Get your eyeballs off me! Push! Get your mama and your sis together, you figure it out.
The boot camp's commander is Lieutenant Rose Green.
I've watched the progression. It's very slow at this point, and I still see that they're very raw.
On this day in January, there was a stark reminder of what's at stake and why getting them to succeed is so important.
Cadet Mackenzie St. Fleur.
Green had just learned a cadet who completed the program in December was shot and killed in front of his house.
Mackenzie St. Fleur, 17 years old. We released him December 19th, I believe. He went back to the same home that he came from. So if that's the case, he went back to the very streets that he came from, unfortunately.
Well, there's not a lot of options sometimes. They have to go back to, a lot of times they have to go back to the same streets, don't they?
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's why we try to fortify them.
St. Fleur had passed his GED exam while at the boot camp, but he never received the actual diploma. The certificate didn't arrive from Tallahassee until the day of his funeral. Justin Martinez is hoping for a different fate.
I want to know how to be a father for one. I have a son that's 1 and my daughter's 3.
The most important thing he said he can do is provide a better example for his kids as they grow up.
I never knew how to work for anything, and when I did work, I never appreciated working. I could have gave back to my mother and my kids, but instead I spent it on myself.
16-year-old Arojo is already the father of a boy and a girl, and Flores a 3-year-old son.
I had him when I was 15.
She hasn't seen her son in 8 months.
My mom tells him that mommy's away for being mad, that mommy's in timeout. So when I talk to him, he tells me to behave good. And I get pictures of him too. I have pictures of him, and I feel so bad for not being there for him right now. Like, it's crazy I had to go through all this to realize how important family is. Oh, I'm sorry.
Since the start of boot camp, one frequent target for the drill instructors was a familiar face. Mark Andino is what is known as a recycle. He was in the program last year but ran into trouble and quit. He then pleaded to the judge to let him try again. Now he's back, and the drill instructors are all over him.
I know how you run to boot camp with that bill. You gonna
You eyeballing me, son.
The charge that landed him here in boot camp? Armed robbery.
My girlfriend was pregnant. I was under a lot of pressure, and I made a stupid decision, and I robbed a jewelry store.
Anything you think I don't remember you? Well, I'm talking to you.
Sir, it's old, sir.
Well, you know what, son? You better get new. This is your second time around, right? You need to get right. You understand me? Don't be a freaking statistic. Do you understand me?
Nearly 2 months have now passed, and the cadets are starting to show some signs of improvement. They seem to be getting it.
For me to be able to contain my anger and contain my self-control in this place as long as I've did shows a lot about what these people do here. And, you know, they talk to us, yeah, they yell at us, but nobody sees the behind-the-scenes act when they talk to us and give us words of encouragement.
For some, the drill instructors transition from guards to the parents they never had.
They beat on us, but I realized the difference between picking on me and trying to help me.
One person who failed to make that connection was Andino. The cadet had finally run out of second chances.
Mr. Andino refused, Your Honor, to comply with the instructions and orders for the program.
Not even halfway through the program, Andino has had enough. After refusing orders and threatening staff, the drill instructors decided it was time for him to get on that bus for state prison. On this day, they were updating the judge that granted him boot camp.
Your client is potentially facing some very serious consequences.
Flunking out of boot camp meant he would have to serve the remainder of his 6-year sentence in state prison. We caught up to him a couple of weeks later inside the jail, where he was waiting to be transferred to state custody.
Once you got out of boot camp and once they brought you here,
Yeah, I felt stupid.
you realized you made a mistake.
I felt stupid because, you know, I know what I traded out. I traded out some months for some years.
Andino said he couldn't handle being disrespected by the drill instructors and forced to endure some of the physical punishments, like crawling through the pit.
Go, go, go! At the moment, it's like my mind's just, I want to escape. I want to get out of here. I want to get out of here. I want to get out of here. And when I had the time to sit there and they brought me back to the jail and I had the time to sit there and really think about it, I felt stupid because I gave it all up. I gave my freedom up. I let a lot of people down, you know what I mean, for nothing.
If Andino represents the failure of the boot camp system, former cadet Jason Bravo is one of the reasons the instructors have hope.
If I wanted to do something, I'd just do it. And looking back on it, everything I did was self-destructive.
Few people understand where these cadets are coming from better than Jason Bravo. Bravo was 17 when he was arrested for armed robbery and assault. He was facing a 15-year prison sentence when the judge offered him a chance at boot camp. That was in 1998.
This was my bunk.
Top?
Bottom.
Bottom?
This was my bunk right here. I'd have to line up. This is where we'd eat chow 3 times a day. A lot of good memories here.
Are there really?
Yeah, I mean, looking back at it, it was only for the best, at least for me. And like I said, I made real friends here with the officers particularly. They took a vested interest in those who really took their recovery seriously.
It's the discipline, right? It's that idea of you gotta do what you gotta do.
It's more than that. It's the discipline, but it's also a level of respect that you earn from them. And then once you earn that respect, they treat you like a human being. And then you understand why they're doing it. And then you see that their motives and their intentions are good. And then you worry about disappointing them, or you want to earn their approval.
The drill instructors not only helped him get through the program, but the staff wrote letters of recommendation to get him into college and then law school. After Bravo passed his bar exam in 2008, the Florida bar held up his license because of his prior felony arrests. But once again, it was the drill instructors who came through, vouching for his character. Now at 33, he's been practicing law for 4 years, and he's paying it back by talking to the cadets.
There's nothing that I accomplished before in my life. I accomplished nothing before I came to boot camp. Probably the first thing that I did in my life that was worth mentioning in a positive way was graduating from boot camp.
When we return, the big day for these cadets has finally arrived. By May, just 3 boot camp cadets from Platoon 14-1 had washed out of Phase 1. That left 35 headed toward graduation. Hours before the ceremony, Justin Martinez's thoughts turned to his family.
I'm hoping that the accomplishment that I made here proves myself worthy to them and myself, because that's my main goal, trying to please myself, but also show my family that I am something other than what they always label me as, a nobody.
His drill instructors say he's made an amazing turnaround during the 4 months he's been in boot camp. Everyone thinks it's easy while you're in here because they're on you, they're yelling at you, they're telling you what to do. The question is, 6-9 months from now when you're out of here, what's going to be different?
That's the test. This right here, like you said, is the easy part. You got somebody always over your head. It's not so difficult to fight temptation. But when you get in the streets, you have nobody to stop that temptation from hitting you. And if you don't have the qualities that they teach you here, and you keep it up when you're on the outside, you're going to fall regardless.
Jennifer Flores had a harder time in boot camp. She admits she didn't think she would make it to graduation.
When you come here, they put you down and you just feel like you ain't going to be able to do it. It's so hard. But it's like now it's the end, like you finally see the light.
A week earlier, one of Flores' best friends, 19-year-old Vivica Correa, was shot to death standing in front of a house in Little Havana.
I know she wasn't around guns or anything like that because she's not that type, but I know she was around with guys that probably have guns.
After learning about the shooting, Flores started acting out, refusing orders. Rather than coddling her because her friend had died, the instructors went at Flores harder, telling her everyone has to deal with horrible events on the outside. The world isn't fair, but that doesn't give them permission to screw up.
It happened to her, but it could have been me.
As Platoon 14-1 marches onto the field, friends and family members strain to get a look. It's the first time in months they've seen their loved ones. And the ceremony lasts an hour with pledges and prayers and speeches. And then one at a time they're called forward to receive their boot camp diplomas.
Christian Araujo.
Sir, sir.
Boot camp. Jennifer Flores.
Sir, sir. Boot camp.
Justin Martinez.
Martinez has excelled in the boot camp and was named the platoon's leader.
Boot camp has restored our confidence and our will to fight for what we believe in.
But all of it is prelude to that moment when they're finally dismissed.
Platoon 14-1.
Sir, sir. Aye, sir. Man, I do what I say, I do, sir.
Across the yard, the tearful scene is repeated. Christian is reunited with his two children, as well as his mother.
His name is Connor, he's 5 months. That's Christopher, he's 2 years old.
I'm proud of him and I thank God because I see him and he changed a lot.
A short distance away, Justin is with the women in his life, his baby girl, his mother, and his grandmother.
He's happy, he's at peace with himself. I can tell he's at peace, and I'm happy about that.
Before he went into this, where was he heading?
Down a dark road. Down a dark road.
The next phase will begin the process of finding jobs and entering the work release phase of the program. But for now, the 5 minutes they're given to see and hold family members is enough to keep them going. The drill instructor counts down the final set.
16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10.
Go get a line. Okay, love you, bye.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
And with that, they're gone. And for some, they can begin imagining their future.
Count ready. Touch. First squad to the rear, ready. Second squad to the rear, ready. Third squad to the rear, ready.
2 months after this ceremony, the cadets were allowed to return home and begin working and going to school again. They will remain under supervision for another year, and if they stay out of trouble, their court cases will be closed. Now we finish tonight with an update on how some of the cadets are doing. Thanks for watching. I'm Jim DeFede, CBS 4 News in depth.